Welcome to this explainer. You know, when we usually think about ancient epics like the Mahabharata, we picture massive, earth-shaking battles. But today, well, we're unpacking an excerpt that reads exactly like a logistical blueprint for the ultimate mega event. Seriously, move over modern music festivals, we are going to look at how an ancient king managed high-level executive planning, insane wealth distribution, and total guest satisfaction on a scale that's just almost incomprehensible. Let's get right into it. So here's our itinerary for today. First, we've got the ultimate royal sacrifice. Second, delegating the epic duties. Third, palaces, wealth, and tribute. And finally, number 4, gratifying gods and men. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the ultimate royal sacrifice, setting the stage. Listen, to pull off an event of this absolute magnitude, your leadership strategy has to be totally flawless from day one. And Yudhishthira, he didn't just start barking orders. Instead, he made this brilliant executive move. He actually went to his elders, guys like Bhishma, Drona, and Kripa, and said, "Help me ye all in the matter of this sacrifice. This large treasure that is here is yours." By literally giving them ownership of his massive treasury right out the gate, he made them stakeholders. It is an absolute masterclass in securing early buy-in, don't you think? Moving right along to Section 2, delegating the epic duties, or as I like to call it, the ancient org chart. Okay, this is where it gets super interesting. Yudhishthira essentially appointed a C-suite of legendary figures. Look at this breakdown. Dussasana was made head of catering and hospitality, so he's overseeing all the food and enjoyable articles. Aswatthama handled Brahmana relations. Then you have Sanjaya, who was put in charge of what they called return worship, which is basically high-level VIP guest relations. Bhishma and Drona, they acted as the strategic directors, keeping a bird's-eye view on everything being done or, left undone. And Kripa was the ultimate head of gifting, managing the distribution of diamonds and gold. We're looking at highly specialized delegation at its absolute finest here. Now, obviously, any mega event requires strict financial controls, and they establish a flawless system of checks and balances for this. Vidura, who was totally renowned for his strict morality, became the disperser, meaning he handled all the outgoing wealth. Meanwhile, Duryodhana acted as the receiver for the immense, and I mean immense, tributes brought by visiting kings. By completely separating accounts payable from accounts receivable, they ensured total control over this massive pop-up economy. But right in the middle of all this high-level strategy and massive wealth distribution, we find this incredible contrast. Krishna, who the text literally describes as the center of all worlds, chose the absolute most humble task possible. He engaged, entirely at his own will, in washing the feet of the Brahmanas. It's such a profound statement tucked right into the middle of this logistical blueprint. It really drives home the point that true leadership fundamentally includes deep, humble service. Which brings us to Section 3, palaces, wealth, and tribute, scaling the spectacle. So with the dream team in place, just consider the sheer scale of the finances here. 1,000. That was the absolute minimum buy-in for this event. No guest arrived with a tribute less than 1,000 in number, weight, or measure. There was no way around it. This wasn't just a gathering, right? It was a completely unprecedented consolidation of global resources. And the psychology behind all this wealth is just as fascinating. Everyone wanted to honor the king with large presents. But the text explicitly tells us that each king flattered himself with the proud belief that his specific jewels would be the ones to enable the sacrifice to be completed. It's brilliant. The sheer volume of wealth was essentially crowdsourced through the eager pride and ego of the attending kings. And man, what a spectacle all that wealth funded. The physical venue was an absolute architectural marvel. We're talking about palaces built to last forever. Mansions so immensely high that their tops literally brushed against the aerial cars of the viewing gods. Every single hall was adorned with gems, stuffed with wealth, and crowded with guards, warriors, and beautiful kings. It was a material triumph designed to completely overwhelm the senses. All right, finally, let's look at Section 4, gratifying gods and men, the final KPIs. Because, let's face it, an event this large is only truly successful if your attendees are happy. So Yudhishthira kicked off the sacrifice with 6 fires and massive gifts, literally vying with Varuna, the god of the oceans, in sheer abundance. He was operating on a scale that was practically divine. By utilizing actual mountains of jewels, rice, and food, he made absolutely sure that in this vast concourse, every single person was fed to the full. No one went hungry. And they didn't just blindly throw resources at the crowd either. They perfectly targeted their hospitality. For the gods, gratification came through Ida, clarified butter and libations poured by great rishis. For men and Brahmanas, it was sacrificial gifts, food, and immense wealth. By using this highly specific, dual approach to catering, they ensured that every single order of being was totally filled with joy. Talk about knowing your audience. So, as we wrap up this explainer, we're really left with this powerful juxtaposition. On one hand, you have palaces touching the sky, oceans of wealth rivaling the gods, and millions of people fed to the absolute full. But on the other hand, you have Yudhishthira giving away his entire treasury to his elders, and Krishna quietly washing the feet of the guests. It leaves us with a pretty heavy question that echoes from the ancient world right into our lives today. What actually creates a truly immortal legacy? Is it the incalculable wealth you gather, or the humility with which you serve your guests? Thanks so much for joining me to explore this incredible ancient blueprint. See you next time.